more than 4% unless you end early or unless you end late. You're always going to get more than 4% unless you're a simple miner, right? And that's only if every single person is mining, which we already know won't be liquidity providers. If every single person is mining, and if no genius has been burnt, because the more genius that gets burnt, you know, the more the inflation, the more the rewards, the more miners earn rewards, especially the longer they have run rewards. Now, if you're a hexagon and you do hex, you also understand this as a rising price of T-shares. Like with how hex simulates compounding interest is the same way that Genius simulates compounding interest, but in a different way, and especially with a stability pool. But here with the stability pool, those extra rewards that come out ahead of schedule, ultimately when that Genius is settled, the cost for it to be settled, it actually brings the Genius rewards to less than 4-point-something% per year. But as an individual miner, that doesn't mean, you know, the individual miner is always going to make more than what is paid out entirely. All right, if that doesn't make sense, I'm sorry, but I think hexagons, that will make sense for them. Can you auction off the loan that came from the stability pool? Good news, yes, you can. Is the collateral used for something? Nope. I mean, it is. The collateral is used to pump the price of Genius. But you see here, you know, just because I say pump the price of Genius, please don't underestimate that. Please don't, you know, let me tell you what to please do. It's not really like, the end result is higher potential for a pumped price for Genius. That's the end result. The potential is significantly higher. And after all, how we accomplish things in life are by aligning ourselves with all the potentials. But what it's doing fundamentally is not pumping the price. Because after all, we can't just pump the price of something. We can't just say, Ethereum, be up $2,000 more. We can't just say that. We can't say, you, whale, yeah, you buy $6 billion worth of Ethereum now, because it's not economical for the whale. So what Genius does is it finds economical DeFi ways within the contract, and within the contract in ways that is affected by the outside world without being included in the outside world, but guessing the outside world, intelligently guessing it based on user actions. Combining this in incentives. This is something you got to pay attention to, right? Combining this with incentives. And what you get is a higher potential of a pumped price. Sure, are people going to liquidate? Yes. Are they going to liquidate early? Probably not, because of the penalty multiplier. So, you know, if you're scared of Genius's high earnings potential, that's what the basic miners are for. By the way, simple miners have been renamed to basic miners. In the basic miners, you can't lose your principal unless you're late. But so you see, is the collateral used for something? Yes. It's used within these tokenomics to be a way to incentivize people to do things. One of the ways is the collateral is there, which one helps as a belief system. You know, money is very much a belief system. That's why you have religions formed around cryptocurrencies. You have your Bitcoin maxis, your Ethereum maxis, your Hex maxis, which unfortunately are some of the dumbest maxis out there. I'm a Hex maxi, by the way. And as soon as Genius is released, I'll be a Genius maxi. Not really. I'm extremely open-minded, and I want to be. But the collateral, its use is one, in a belief, you know, because people see, oh, it's backed by this. You know, two, what happens if liquidity providers go away? And by the way, liquidity providers actually benefit from this. You know, there's more trade opportunities, there's more arbitrage opportunities, and that's how liquidity providers make their returns. So the collateral is there kind of like as a carrot being dangled in front of somebody. However, the actions of this person, besides following the carrot, they have benefits. Now, what is the end game theory? That's the important part. What is the end game theory? What's going to happen in the end, right? Well, what's going to happen in the end is really the same thing that you see with, with cryptocurrencies that are novel and are used. As we all know, the more a cryptocurrency is used, the more something is used, the more value it is giving to humanity either way. Photoshop, used by tons of people, has made Adobe rich, has made Adobe's investors very rich. It has made the people who are using Photoshop ways to derive passive income, except it's not passive because, you know, they're doing their work to do it. Unless you're one of those advanced Photoshop guys that's always running batches of stuff. So Photoshop is like a renderer for you, but you get the idea. Does the stability pool exist to avoid trading open market and do P2P at an auction? Does the stability pool exist to avoid a trading open market? No, it doesn't avoid to avoid it. It avoids to avoids the stability pool. The existence of the stability pool is to supplement the open market. Yeah. So, for example, when you have liquidity, when you have collateral in a stability pool, that's collateral that can't disappear. Because after all, if a coin has, you know, let's say, you know, another problem with a lot of new coins, right, is their liquidity. I mean, thankfully, there are decentralized exchanges so that any coin can get liquidity and any coin can have a better chance to show itself. But, you know, when you have an open market and you have people using it, what happens if all your liquidity providers disappear? Well, the more liquidity providers you have, chances are, you know, chances become lower and lower of that happening until, you know, a better product comes out, right? And hopefully you can exodus when there's a better product. But so the stability pool, think of it like a liquidity provider who can't pull out. They only pull out when they serve their purpose. Liquidity. So by the way, at the moment, you know, I don't really know the count. I mean, I did, but I heard it was over 70, that we have over 70 liquidity providers for Genius so far. These are liquidity providers, by the way. Like, Genius isn't even out yet. This is liquidity providers who have registered to become a liquidity provider and put up cash. So put up cash to basically be like, we're definitely doing this. Yeah, we're definitely doing this. So they're not going to pull out. If they pull out, okay, fine. But versus all those other like newer cryptocurrencies out there, there's going to be at least 70 liquidity providers. That's awesome. And the stability pool, you know, whatever collateral's in the stability pool will be a great buffer, will be an excellent buffer for, raise my hand like I'm going to use it. I'm going to do a spell. The collateral pool for the stability pool, the collateral is kind of like a buffer. You know, people, whales can sell big amounts into the collateral pool. And by the way, into the stability pool. And by that happening, it has a growing incentive for more people to put in collateral. There is a limit to how much collateral can be in there at a time, by the way. And that limit, it has to do with the Genius supply, and it also has to do with the price of Genius. All right. I think I got the whole point across on there. You're all going to like the white paper. The white paper will probably be out after the beta, because most of what's written about the stability pool is written in the form of technological specifications and charts, like lucid charts, like logic charts and flow charts. And, you know, I gotta say, the stability pool was one of the very first inventions of genius, behind genius. But there was a big problem that wasn't solved. And it didn't get solved until about 3 months ago. So this is why it wasn't in the white paper in the first place, to be frank. There was a big problem in the prior conception of the stability pool. And that problem was how do you incentivize a user to put in collateral? How do you have the stability pool continuously incentivize people to put in collateral, even if people are